This is Jeep Talk with Damon Viola.
Welcome to Jeep Talk. Recently, I attended the annual Military Vehicle Collectors of California Spring Meet at Tower Park in Lodi, California. Beside the usual activities I look forward to seeing and doing every year, I had the opportunity to chat with some of the Jeep parts and service vendors. In the course of restoring my own Jeep, I have used all of them for parts and advice and highly recommend them to anyone needing the same. First up is Ron Fitzpatrick of Ron Fitzpatrick Jeep Parts. Hey, Ron.
Oh, hey, Damon.
How are you? Good to see you.
Absolutely. Good to see you.
Yeah, I thought I'd come by and let you say a few words about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, right on. We do early flat fender Jeep stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, yep, coming down, visit California in all the great weather.
Excellent. Well, I come every year as well, and I always want to stop by and say hi. And, of course, this time I got some parts that I bought that I'm hoping you still have for me.
Yep, we got them.
Excellent.
Yeah, we'll hook you up.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you got started in doing this.
20 years ago this month. So,
wow. That's quite an anniversary.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So what was your first military vehicle?
A GPW.
Excellent.
42 GPW, yeah. Still have it.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So that's where you got the bug, huh?
Oh, man. That's how, yep.
And so did you, you got the Jeep and you said, I want to fix this Jeep up, and then you started realizing that the part situation.
Parts was a problem.
So then you went, maybe I'll start, sourcing the parts myself, maybe make some parts.
Yep. And then it snowballs.
So you're in business.
Yeah, look out.
Wow, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm so glad. I'm going to come see you in a little bit, and I'll pick up those parts.
Cool.
And I look forward to seeing you. Oh, by the way, are you going to be at the convention?
Yep, we'll be there.
Okay, well,
one way or another, we'll be there.
Okay, Ron. Well,
cool.
Very good.
Thank you.
We'll see you later then.
Thanks.
Take care. Next is Jay Hinton of Jay's World War II Jeeps. So, Mr. Jay, how are you?
Great. Yourself, Damon?
I'm doing good. So, I know you've got your Jeep reproduction panels. I want you to talk a little bit about that.
What we got the finest line of reproduction World War II Jeep parts coming out of the UK. Quality concern number one. We got panels, bolts, miscellaneous hardware.
And I understand your inventory is increasing all the time.
Expanding monthly.
Okay.
New products. We got this month we've got fuel lines, the flex lines, oil lines, Ford GPW marked tie rod ends. Mm-hmm. It's just expanding greatly.
So, and you also sell parts off of, takeoff parts.
Yeah, I will sell the takeoff parts that I acquire.
Okay.
For the guys wanting to do an original parts restoration.
You're always on the hunt to pull stuff out of barns or wherever.
Yeah, find a nice, good, dry California barn find. And if any of the viewers are out there looking for one, they can feel free to contact me, and I can try to help them find a barn find.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. So, tell us a little bit about how you got started in this hobby.
My father-in-law, sitting over here to my left, he got me hooked on taking a Jeep ride on the ranch. One thing leads to another. I got to get one, and then so on and so forth. The tiny snowball ends up being an avalanche, and here we are today.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know how that can be because I started out doing Dodges, and now I'm in the Jeep world. And I got to say, I appreciate the service that you've provided for me. The parts and everything have been as advertised, and prices are good. So
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm a loyal customer.
One of the things we got coming out now, and which I'd like to give you to try.
Oh my gosh!
We got a new proper Autolite marked distributor cap, rotor, brown in color, just like the World War II originals were. Mm-hmm. And they're great product, and I'd like you to put it on your Jeep.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you. You know what? I'm going to do that.
That's great.
And so these are done to exact original specifications, as close as anyone can do?
They're not exact. There's a few changes in them, but they're...
Well, they look pretty good to me.
For the hobbyist collector, they're real good.
All right. Well, listen, I want to thank you, and it's been nice talking with you, Jay.
I'd like to thank you, too.
And you know I'll be seeing you soon because I'm going to buy some more parts from you.
Sounds good.
All right.
Come often and early.
You bet. All right.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Jay. Here's Terry O'Connor of Classic Military Automotive. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Damon.
Tell us a little bit about what you do and how long and,
Yeah, I primarily restore the World War II Jeep, but I also do lightweight trucks, too, in addition to that. But mainly my main focus is the World War II Jeeps.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it for probably most of my life as a hobby, but now I run it as kind of a business. I've been doing it for over 20 years.
I see.
Yeah, in Northern California.
Okay.
We're located about 50 miles north of the Golden Gate Bridge off of 101 in Santa Rosa, California. Mm-hmm. And I work kind of in conjunction with Mike's Military Motors, even though we're two different businesses.
I see.
I walked into Mike's shop. I always make a joke about this. I walked into Mike's shop about 20 years ago, and I haven't left yet.
Well, who can blame you?
Yeah, really. It's a lot of fun.
He's got quite a playground.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. I think that's what's important, as long as you enjoy what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've seen one example of the many restorations you've done, and I was quite impressed. Seems like you didn't skip the details. And is that the typical level of Jeep restoration you do?
Well, certainly with Mike's help in the beginning, I could really get down into the finite details. But now that I've done well over 100 of them, I can tell you I can do them in my sleep. So,
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a foregone conclusion that I know what I'm looking at when I do it. So.
Well, I can only hope that when I get mine finished, that I'll have some approximation of the knowledge that you have.
You'll get there.
That you learn as you do them.
Yeah.
So, but I was quite impressed.
Well, good. Thank you.
And had I had a different financial situation, I might have just taken it up there and said, go for it.
Yeah, as far as in the world of restoration, a restoration is a restoration is a restoration, as they say. Doesn't matter what you're doing. It's just you got to love what you're doing at first. And then you got to learn about it as you go. It's not always a slam dunk, The World War II Jeeps are probably one of the best to start with because they're so simple in design, yet they're one of the most difficult ones to work on because they're driven hard and put away wet.
I will attest to that, just looking at mine.
Right. So.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's mostly the Jeeps and what kind of trucks?
I do dabble in some Dodge trucks from the era of the war period in World War II. I've worked on some of the 50s and 60s model Ford and Chevy trucks. I do a lot of CJ work for people that have CJs for ranches and vineyards and things like that.
I see.
Yeah. I also own a very rare car that it took me 14 years to build. It's one of 6 ever delivered to the U.S. government. It's a 1942 Ford Woody Wagon all-wheel drive Marmon Harrington.
Oh my gosh, I've heard of those.
Yeah, it's on my website. You can go there and see the pictures.
Okay. So, in 10 words or less, is there any general piece of advice you can offer to anybody thinking about entering the world of World War II Jeeps?
Just make sure you wear rubber gloves when you work on everything, because your hands will get destroyed.
Absolutely. Again, I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It's been very nice talking with you.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Anytime.
I wish you the best.
Okay. Thanks, Damon.
You bet. Thanks, Terry. And finally, Mike Stopforth of Mike's Military Motors. Mike Stopforth, how are you?
Great.
Tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got started.
Well, I got started in New Zealand, and I bought the first Jeep in 1959 and restored it, and then I sold it eventually. And then I came to the States in 1965, and then I seen that there was no, people knew nothing about it, you know, that nobody was collecting any parts or looking for them or anything. So I started collecting the parts and went from there.
Yeah, and it was a little different situation then. Certainly the networking wasn't there for people to connect with those that had the parts. And so, you know, as time went on, I'm sure you kind of helped push that through even before the internet and everything, just to get the network of you know, Jeep enthusiasts and people that had the parts.
Yeah, we it just snowballed and got bigger and bigger. And then I make a lot of parts too. I make top bows and rear seats.
Oh yes, because a lot of parts are just not available anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and you can tell me how the story has changed from when you started. I bet a lot of parts were available that, you know, are just unheard of now in the original status anyway, correct?
Yeah, that's right. I can't think of anything that's coming to mind, but there's some of it that's like the air cleaner on the slap grill, the pancake air cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had to start making those, so I made those because you can't get them anymore.
Right, and that just makes me glad that I don't have a slack grill because they're more expensive, as any of the earlier Jeeps are, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right. Then the GPW comes next, looking for Ford parts.
And the elusive F-script parts, of course, is always a big deal for Ford folks.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and you're in Northern California, correct?
Yep, Santa Rosa. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I haven't been to your place. I've talked to some people that have, and they said it's quite a wonderland with the shelving full of parts and everything, and I've seen some pictures. And I'd sure like to drop by sometime if I'm in the area and take a look.
Yeah, that's fine. Just come on over. Call and make sure that I'm there because I'm in and out, you know.
I will do that. And we just spoke with Terry, and he told us that he shares the same building with you, and he does the work and you supply the parts.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Well, that's great. Is there any final thoughts on anything Jeep related?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, very good. Thank you very much, Mike.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed this brief introduction to a few of the people who make restoring vintage Jeeps a little bit easier. For Jeep Talk, I'm Damon Viola. Thanks for watching.